Hey, what's up guys? So it's important for you guys to know that for watching this video was actually intended for my Tattoo Academy, and that's where I suppose the full real version of this video is, where I voice over the whole thing. During this video for YouTube, I've sped up everything a little bit past like the 10-minute mark, so you still get a little bit of that normal hand speed and that normal educational voiceover. But if you do want to check out the real video, I suppose, then you need to sign up to the real Tattoo Academy and check it out over there. But either way, I hope that you guys enjoy the video as always. Hey, what's up team? Look what has just arrived. Okay, let's get into this, and I'm gonna make sure that I carry you through this whole process, our needle selection, all of the techniques that I use and why I use them in these certain areas. I'm gonna really break down all of these techniques for you, from basic things like packing and lining to some of these techniques that is gonna help you achieve smoother shading. And then finally ending up at our finished result. Now this is my first time ever tattooing fake skin, so I'm looking forward to this just as much as you guys. Alright guys, now this being my first time ever tattooing fake skin, I'm actually expecting to get a bad stencil result, because it does seem like you really need to know what you're doing to pull off a good stencil here. Now you will see, or maybe not with all fake skins, but mine has arrived being quite oily, so I know the first step is to use isopropyl or alcohol to remove this layer. Now I'm really not going to be shy with the alcohol, as you can't really damage the synthetic skin, so I'm going to make sure that I really remove all of this. And I think that's a big important step for getting a good stencil, so we're going to try our best here. Now there's also two sides here, and I'm going to choose, I think I'm going with the right one, the kind of more matte. You'll see one side's a bit glossy, so let's just go get quite a bit of isopropyl on there. I'll try remove some of that leftover isopropyl as well, just with a dry paper towel. Alright, we've got our stencil. I'm going to hand stencil this. I see that that's what most people are doing. Remove these two layers from my stencil paper, and I actually kind of rest my hands on them to not get stencil stuff everywhere. And now it's time to stencil. Alright guys, here's a quick look at my stencil. Hope I didn't miss anything. A little look as well. To check if you missed anything in your stencil as well, you can kind of get some light behind it and then see if there's any major features that you did miss. So I'm going to quickly do that before we stick this on. Everything's looking good, or at least good enough. Now my mate said a little bit of baby powder can actually help to kind of really make sure that all the oil in that is removed. Even now, I've cleaned it a few times, but I can really feel it's still like wet with something. Now I think just like a fair amount. So apply that over all of our area. Just any deodorant speed stick I think is pretty good. Make sure that it's nice and smooth. Feels tacky, you know, I might go a bit more. Actually no, I think maybe less is more here. I don't know. I feel like that's not enough, especially after the baby powder. Let's try it one more time. I think I've seriously jinxed myself when I said I think I'm going to do a bad stencil. This feels like this is not right. Okay, I think that's it. Let's have a look. Okay, sneak peek. I had a little look. It doesn't look too bad, at least at one of these edges. Let's have a closer look. Moment of truth. Stencil reveal. I feel like I'm gonna smudge this just by even pulling it off. I reckon that's not bad, eh? If anything, it's like a little bit too blown out. I don't love the stencil, but it's good enough. Alright guys, now that my stencil is placed, I'm going to give this plenty of time to dry. It's about 3:40 p.m. now, and I'll be back at work at maybe just after 9. So there's a fair amount of time there to really let that dry. And I think it's a little bit hit and miss at how well this holds. Sometimes too much time drying can really make it stick on, and when you're not tattooing, it doesn't really lift off, which is really what I don't want. I'd much rather it really rub off faster. And then too short a time, obviously one wipe and the whole thing will be gone, which is where it's currently at. I think you can speed this up with a hairdryer, but just like kind of all things, it's best to just do the proper process, especially my first time trying this. So let's have a look at our stencil. Now, like I was expecting, far from a perfect result, but it's definitely on there. It's just really blowing out. You can see these lines. I think that could have been from me like pushing, maybe it was jumping around a little bit. You can see this left eye is like just a mess. The mouth detail like gone, lots of lines like bleeding together. But I'm sure I have more than enough experience to deal with that. I've had issues like that when tattooing real people, and sometimes far worse than that. So it shouldn't be an issue at all, and I look forward to getting into this with you guys. I'll see you in the morning.
Is it gone?
Yep, there's just lines through it, but it's cool. It's actually
That's
good.
why I like roll that tissue on it.
Push it
so
up
it
quite a
pushes
bit.
on evenly.
Yep.
But you can
Nah, I'm
probably
happy
see
with
the
this.
whole thing anyway.
Yeah, I'm happy with this hard out. But this purple is like black. This is like all light as. Alright, so you'll very quickly be able to see that my stencil went from average to bad. I left it out in the sun to quickly do this drying process as I wanted to tattoo the same day. So I left it in the sun. It was a good day for about 40 minutes to an hour, and this is the result I was left with. Obviously I can see it a little bit better than you guys can because of the exposure from the light, but it's still pretty horrible. But I'm starting off as always with my 13 curved mag, and I'm really just trying to get a feel for the fake skin, seeing how it's reacting to my values and the cartridges. And this is a really safe spot for me to kind of experiment and figure a few things out just on the hooded part of this portrait. And before we start getting into this piece a little bit more, I do want to stop and talk about the importance of going into every piece, if you can, with the same kind of process and strategy. So that really starts at what needle you're selecting. So most of the time, like 99% of the time, I click in my 13 curved mag, I adjust that depth, and I know that whole process like never really changes. So that is all really fluid, and I'm already starting to lock in and achieve a really good workflow. So with that, then I can get into the tattoo really comfortably. It's not a needle that is too big where I can't get into a lot of areas. If an area is too tight, then I can kind of turn that mag on its side and do a little bit of mapping, and maybe just move off to the side where that 13 curved mag is going to fit a little bit better. I always really try and stress the importance, especially to a lot of you guys that I've already talked to. It's really easy to get lost into the detail, and you really don't want that to be the start of your day where you're using something like a round liner or a round shader and starting to lock in texture right from the start. You're automatically getting into a really slow and precise workflow, but you want this process to be a bit more like sculpting or like an oil painting, where you start off with things being a little bit blurrier, like all of your forms, and then start adding those details and refining things more further down in the process. Alright, so everything that you have seen and heard so far is from the original video that is exclusively available on the Tattoo Academy's page. So yeah, you can find that if you want to stop and just check out the proper version of this video, I suppose you could say. and the non-sped up version. So all the rest of the stuff, apart from one more little sample that's coming up, I've just sped up a little bit just to add that much more value to the real product. But if you do want to jump on and join the Real Tattoo Academy page so that you can see this exclusive video and other videos that are already available on the page, you can Google search the Real Tattoo Academy and jump onto the WOP website where this is all available, all of the courses. So there's some PDFs and our Discord and our chat groups. It will give you access to all of that as soon as you're in the academy. So yeah, all of that's there. Or if you want a link, there's some stuff on my Instagram through the link tree, or also some links available on the YouTube channel as well. And I'll make sure that I add something in the description there so that you have plenty of sources where you can join up. But what's important for me, and I guess important for both of us, that if you don't want to sign up or if you just want to check out some more of this video, then this content is still going to be good for you, although it's sped up and missing, I guess, the major information that I'm providing while I'm tattooing this in my original voiceover that's exclusive to the academy. There's still going to be a little bit of knowledge and things that you can pick up from this video. I guess that level will just be slightly less. But overall, even in this shortened version, it's still some great tattoo content, especially for something that's available for free out there. There's not a lot of this really high quality stuff, and I'll include another sample from the original video as well coming up that's not sped up, and including some of that original voiceover. And I'll just have a little bit of that audio playing in the background here for a small amount of time so you can hear how that 23 curve mag is reacting to the fake skin and get a rough idea for the amount of pressure behind the cartridge as well. You can see that I am trying to achieve something really nice and smooth and well saturated. So I have slowed my hand speed down here, and this is really the perfect speed of tattooing realism, I think. If I am tattooing faster, which I will be at times, it is trying to kind of speed things up a little bit. But if you could tattoo at this pace for the whole day, everything would be so nicely saturated. Even your lighter values would have so much life in them. And as we've all seen, there are a lot of artists out there, even in black and grey, who will spend over 10 hours when tattooing a portrait. So as you've heard, there's also sections in the video where I include that machine audio, so you can hear that feedback that we're getting back from the cartridge and hearing that machine resistance at times. It kind of helps to give you a little bit of an idea of that hand pressure and stuff like that that's used. So also another useful thing to help all of you guys out. Now it is really important, I guess quite quickly, that I let you guys know the Tattoo Academy that I've set up is not something to teach people who don't know how to tattoo, to teach them how, you know. This is something that is set up for people who are already tattooing but are looking to level up, and it's really best for like any level of artist. You know, there's always something you can improve on, or there could be simple things like packing black or shading techniques, hand speed, volts, and what equipment to use, especially when you're trying to achieve a certain look. And then also some more advanced topics like how to raise your prices for your clients and to keep everyone happy. So if you haven't already started tattooing, then I'm sorry, but this is probably not the best option for you, because I'm not teaching anyone the real basic stuff. I don't want to be teaching people how to tattoo, just to help tattoo artists grow and to keep feeling really inspired, and giving them all ways to improve week after week, helping them out to really like roadmap their success a little bit. And then also any little question that they have throughout the day or weeks, then they can send that through. They can book coaching calls. There's heaps of tools there, and the whole thing is really just set up to help artists improve. And I think all the prices of everything is really reasonable. It's pretty much just $1 a day, or that 30 something a month. And then if you want to book future coaching calls on top of the one free one that you get gifted, then it's just another 80 for that, the 1 hour coaching call. But I really make sure that they are super effective. We communicate a little bit beforehand. I get some information and some notes from you. I take that information away and make sure that in our coaching call I'm really giving you all of the answers that you need for all of those kind of questions and that feedback that we initially had. But again, this is not a tattoo school or anything about teaching people who don't know how to tattoo or don't have any of the equipment, how to get them started. If that's what you're after, then yeah, you'll probably have to look somewhere else. But the feedback so far has been great. I think it's been maybe 5 or 6 weeks, and already I've had at least one coaching call every week, and there's still a few more to get through. I've got just over 10 people with us at the moment, and it's really nice at the moment in the kind of, I guess, like humbling stage of all of it, you know. It doesn't have an overwhelming amount of numbers, so all of it's been, like, I guess you'd say, really personal, and everyone's able to communicate with each other. There's been moments where we've had topics in the group chat and everyone's kind of had their opinion. So all of that's really nice. It's not a group with thousands of people, and I don't think it ever will be. I just really want to keep it, yeah, something that's nice and small and kind of more like that, like family team, you know. The vibe at the moment is really good in the community, and everyone is seeing really good results in their work, and from a range of things and from a range of different skill levels there as well. And although some of it is quite like hands-on and there is tasks there that I'd recommend for people to do, there's some things that are a little bit more important than that, I find. It's like having someone from the outside and maybe with more experience. Maybe they've been through kind of the situation that you're in and your like kind of artistic career, and they can very easily help kind of pull you out of that and then up into the next tier. Or maybe I can see, based on your skill level, what you should be charging, and all of this information that I guess I would have liked to have, because that's really my thought. Even when I make these videos, or especially when I made the Tattoo Academy, it was thinking of a space that I want to be part of. So even in the space itself, like, I'm always very hands-on. If there's ever any messages there, it is me personally getting back to all of those, and obviously doing all of the work for the coaching calls there. And a huge push for me to even create this space was, obviously you guys have seen my videos, I'm sure, in the past on YouTube. So I had already kind of stepped into that position a little bit, kind of like dipped my toes in, I guess. But with these like other videos and stuff that are out there, like, I really don't like the quality. And even in the past, when I've bought seminars from people costing like hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars, I always feel let down by the content. So it was really on my mind to really reverse the scale where everything that you get really outweighs the price, you know. I wanted something that you could be a part of for life. So that cost in mind, and gaining so much from, not just buying a one-off pack for like $800 that has a few videos and they're all a few hours long, but then it's over, you know. Even then, there's no real interaction with this artist who you are inspired by, you know. So to me, that's like so much value as well. Like, not only when I buy a seminar from someone, like, wouldn't it be great to have the opportunity to talk to them for a little bit as well, even if it's a short amount of time. Like, that is quite a cool and unique thing, and something where you can really answer the questions that you need answering. Because all of these seminars and packs, a lot of it is just following a tattoo artist along while he does something, without even explaining. Like, I voice over all of my stuff, but a lot of people don't. So already available to the Real Tattoo Academy members, there is multiple exclusive voice-over tattoo videos, like some of my other ones on YouTube, but these are really more in-depth than ever before. There's also videos on achieving, like setting and achieving goals, with all of it being like really tattoo related, and finding ways to get yourself to that next level in tattooing. And most importantly, like, finding ways to improve week after week. My next video that I drop for the Tattoo Academy will be based on my specific shading techniques, because I have some that are quite unique to myself. I don't see them being done by many others, and I guess just my general outlook on realism and how you should achieve and build up your pieces. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to sharing with the Academy. And that's the kind of main thing that I'm trying to talk about here as well, is there's going to be ongoing content for being part of this Academy. So as soon as you join up, you're going to have access to a whole bunch of stuff there that'll really keep you busy. YouTube and all of that is great, but I think my next YouTube video might be something on oil painting, or I do need to put together my Bishop machine unboxing video. So it'll probably be one of those, but like for the painting one, for example, I will drop it on YouTube because it is something that I've talked about before, and I think it is really important. So I do want to kind of, I guess, spread that word to the world a little bit, because it will have a huge impact on the tattoo career in the years down the line that kind of flow on from people seeing this video early on in their tattoo career. So I don't want to hold that back from anyone, but I think it's going to be really good when I release that video on YouTube. I can get the Tattoo Academy group kind of together online and go over some painting stuff. So maybe have a group call there and we all kind of go over some of the basics a little bit, and I can really help kind of guide people through those early stages of oil painting. So to me, it just feels like this is a more genuine product, because anyone can kind of make something and drop it online. But having someone who's so confident in the product that they can kind of walk you through what's going on personally to really ensure that you specifically level up. Because everyone's always at different stages, and for myself, whenever I buy a seminar thing, it kind of feels like I'm just like watching TV a little bit, you know? I don't feel like my brain's really in that like locked in kind of learning state. You know, there might be moments where I might gain something, but I guess I'm just quite like far in my tattoo career. So from just observing something, unless it's being voice-overed, then I find I don't gain a lot. And I would say I wouldn't really gain my money's worth from it, you know? But I really learn from kind of people explaining, because it really is with art. It's all about that artist's outlook on their reference, which really determines how their tattoo looks, or how the finished product looks within their art. Is kind of like how they perceive all the information in their reference, what's important to them and what's not, what are they stylizing, what are they keeping the same, and all of that. Like what range of values does this artist like to use? And the artist never really like voiceovers in that video saying like, oh yeah, I really like to have a lot of really dark shadows, or ignore dark and just push that black out a lot. Like, I want to kind of watch some content where I feel like I've had a conversation with the person, or now I really understand that kind of from the words that they've used there, you know? And I think with my Tattoo Academy stuff, like that's really what I've achieved, and really what I'm aiming for there as well. So I won't talk too much about the Academy stuff anymore. We'll just kind of hang out here, I guess. I'm not really too sure what to talk about either, because obviously in the original video for the Academy, I'm explaining all of the stuff that I'm tattooing, kind of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, I guess. And the original video is over 2 hours long, so it really is packed with heaps of information. But I guess while I'm here and have absolutely nothing to talk about, I kind of have two choices, you know? We can either talk about politics, or I can tell you guys a little bit about myself. So I'll just randomly flip a coin and I'll just go with whatever it lands on. I'd also be pretty keen to talk about conspiracy theories as well, but I'm not sure. I'll probably just tell you guys a little bit about my tattoo stuff, I guess. So I've been tattooing for over 10 years. Yeah, maybe 10, 11 years. And I did start through an apprenticeship straight away. So I managed to get my apprenticeship from basically painting graffiti, you know. At first, the bro was basically like, oh yeah, I'm not too interested. And I was a little bit, you know, obviously everyone's always like a little bit gutted to hear that, but I had already gone to a few other studios to talk to them as well. And, you know, kind of getting similar responses as everyone does when they're looking for an apprenticeship, you know. Like, you're really not providing anything for the studio. It's them going out and giving you their time. So they have to be pretty committed. So he wasn't too keen, but I really kind of expressed the fact that I was so into art that I was making like not a lot of money every week from my job. I used to be a forestry worker, so maybe $800 a week. And I'd spend so much of that on like art supplies, and most of it was spray paint. And I kept kind of getting caught by the cops and everyone else basically, because I'd always go and paint by myself, so there was no one really looking out. And then I'd kind of have a few choices, like I can kind of stick around, maybe try like de-escalate or maybe escalate the situation, or leave my paint and run. So quite often I would like had this big duffel bag, because I always wanted to paint really cool stuff. So I'd have my big duffel bag full of paint, and I'd try grab it, and it was actually like a camo bag too, so it usually worked out sweet. I'd like grab it and I'd start running, and I'd try like throw it in the bushes a little bit, and hopefully it wouldn't get found, but it did. But that time I didn't get caught, but I still lost like a few $100 worth of paint, and I think I had mostly finished the piece, so I was okay with that one. But then also with graffiti, I racked up like a lot of community service hours, so all of my Sundays for ages, maybe like a year, I was doing community stuff, like all the PD work, hop in the van with the bros and go do some community service stuff. Yeah, and basically what I said to the bro when I was trying to get my apprenticeship was, art is basically damaging me financially and all of this, but I'm still keen to do it, like I'm not going to stop doing it. I just overall have a passion for art, and I'm basically going to get an apprenticeship somewhere, it might as well be here, because I'm keen and I will pursue being really good at this thing, So anyway, got that apprenticeship. And then I was quite quickly, or maybe like a year, so there was obviously an amount of time where I was just drawing and cleaning, and in that time I was also renting, so I was in the studio like 5 or 6 days a week and not making any money while I was there. Obviously that's not very good, and I ended up picking up like painting commissions, like murals and stuff like that, and I would then do them at night. So I'd a lot of the time I'd go to work, and then I'd come home and I'd grab some paint, and I'd go out to this painting job that I had heavily underquoted, so I really made no money there at all, and actually ended up going backwards a lot of the time. So yeah, I just had no understanding on what you should charge, and saying like $400 sounded like massive to me, and I guess my negotiation skills were kind of like I was pretty young to all of it, so it never really went my way, and I just ended up ripping myself off a lot of the time. But I guess that's like I'm sure every artist really has that same story, so that's cool, like that's all part of it. But I did end up just really, I guess, financially not doing well, as you do, not having money for like food and little stuff like that. Well, I guess food's quite important, but yeah. And then, so I had basically got into the tattooing stage, and I was probably tattooing for maybe 6 months, so spending like just over a year, I guess, at the studio. And then I was approached by the bro who I was actually getting tattooed beforehand, and he kind of said, we'd love to have you here as well. And yeah, it was kind of a hard situation, because I had obviously become really close with everyone in the studio, and they gave me that first opportunity, so I'm always really grateful for that, and make sure that the bro knows that. But I ended up moving to the bro who was like heavily underrated in New Zealand. He just has just a lot of skill and a lot of knowledge. So he's a Russian guy, so it was also that new perspective. He was quite fresh to New Zealand. When I first got tattooed by him, we had to use Google Translate, or some Russian translator to get through what I wanted for him to tattoo. So yeah, his outlook on everything, like you can imagine the early, I guess 2010, how art and all of that was looking, you know, it really was Europe and stuff like that were doing like crazy pieces, especially with color, just really thinking outside of the box. So I really knew that I wanted to have that kind of foundation there as well. I wanted that to be part of my early years in tattooing to really effectively kind of level up, I guess. And I think me and the bro really achieved that together. And then so I worked there, I guess, for a few years, and then I ended up moving to one of my other bros' shops out west, and that was a good time. And I was kind of there while I was just saving up really for my own spot and putting that all together. And then kind of just been at my spot ever since, with I think maybe 1 or 2 guest spots in between where I've kind of traveled. But I am looking forward to maybe doing a few more guest spots in that as well. And along the way, I won a few awards there as well at tattoo conventions. So it's basically every convention that I've been to, I've managed to pick up an award, which has like been pretty lucky, really. That's pretty cool. And a lot of that, especially how to approach conventions, was given to me by, or who I've been referring to as the Russian guy, but Semyon is his name. So he really gave me a good outlook on how to do well at conventions and things like that. I guess just an outlook for it and what to go for in these situations, what impresses people and things like that. So he had a really clear vision on that, and he's really achieved that with his conventions as well. We kind of battled it out a little bit at the last one. We both got an award, but he ended up getting the best of day at one of them. My piece was way better than his though, so I probably should have got it, but nah, he's actually the man. He's pretty unbeatable. Like if it was like actual someone I think could win like an Ink Master situation, it would be him hands down. Like when I worked with him, he used to stencil like 5 lines of like a face. He'll just put in like 5 little indicating lines. It wasn't even accurate. Like even if you looked at where he had put them, they were like in the wrong spots. And then he would freehand or draw with a pen, all the rest of it. So it was crazy. And he was real fast as well. I remember especially at the time, I would look over at how much he's done and how much I've done, and I was like, oh man, like this is just crazy. But that's such a good position to be in, I guess, as a young artist to really be nowhere near as capable as the person who you're looking up to, you know. That's quite important, to be humbled daily. Yeah. And I think there's a few conventions coming up. I think maybe the start of next year. I'm not sure if there were any that I wanted to do this year, because some of them for New Zealand, if you do a South Island, like New Zealand's obviously kind of 2 islands, you know, and if you do one in the South Island, because I'm in the North Island, it will cost me basically just as much to get to Australia as it would to the South Island and do this whole convention. So I'm kind of more tempted to do something that's international. Like I love supporting kind of the local stuff, but I've just done a few conventions, kind of got a few New Zealand awards in that. And I think the next thing for me would be kind of going overseas and bringing something home, you know, something international kind of in my head just has a bit more, like it's a little bit cooler to me, you know. And that was something that I actually helped to talk to one of the Academy members about. He said that was one of his main goals, was to try and get an award from a tattoo convention. So I shared with him some points to really, I guess, up his chances of that happening. And all of that really helped him out there a little bit. So hopefully he comes through and makes that happen soon. That'll be epic to see. But I guess a lot of it is about the judges as well, because everyone has the personal preference, and depending on what that judge prefers, like quite often you can see they might just pick something that's really massive over something that's tattooed really well but half the size. Like I quite often see a lot of people like collaborating on larger pieces at tattoo conventions, and they'll tattoo something real massive, and maybe they're international artists as well. So I feel like as soon as there's some like big name that's international, the convention feels like obligated to give them an award. Like to me, that's like not on, especially some of the pieces, like especially up close, like they look super rough, like I don't think, or for myself, I want like every area to be like spot on, if there's something that's not looking sharp, like I'm not just gonna leave it looking that way. I'd rather produce less than kind of smash something out at 50% quality, yeah, I guess just my opinion, but everything's lined up really well. I think I'm in a really good position just to take in the opportunity, that's there at the moment. So obviously I want to improve in all areas of my life and business and the quality of my tattooing. But at the moment, like my studio is filled with like the best team that I could ever ask for. Really stoked to be able to work alongside these guys every day. And we're all pushing each other at the moment in a really positive direction. Like they got me into training every day. And I think I've been training for a while now. It's in one of my vlog videos that I was doing like my second week at the gym. Yeah, so now it's been a while. And that's all been good. Started waking up earlier, or when I can. I've been a bit slack lately and it's been a bit cold, but I'm trying, And I think overall, like we all just kind of share the same vision. Like one of our main priorities is just for our work to look as good as it possibly can. And I think that we have really achieved that. We're only a small studio with just 3 artists. There's space for a few more, but yeah, it's nice just with us in there at the moment. And if someone else did start, I feel like it would be a real privilege for that artist, because all of us are at the spot in the moment where we're all really being like positive influences to each other, which it didn't always used to be like that. Yeah, maybe before there was some destructive influences, but that's all cool and that's all part of it. But yeah, at the moment, like no one's drinking, we're all training, everyone's in a good spot, and it's kind of, I guess when you stick at these healthy habits, that situation only improves. Yeah, so it's all been really good. And yeah, you can give the bros a follow on Instagram as well if you want. Let me check what their Instagrams are. So the bro Hayds is hayds.tattoos, so HAYDZ.tattoos. And then the other bro, Sam, let me check. And then the other bro is Sam_Wills_tattoo. So yeah, that's just Sam. And then the Wills is with a Z. And then my Instagram as well, which you should definitely already be following, is the real Bronson. But you should send the bros a message. Just send something real weird. Like the weirder the better, I'd definitely encourage that. But yeah, I hope that you guys do at least check out the Real Tattoo Academy, or send me some questions that you might have about it, Hit me up on Instagram or in the comment section here. We can publicly get some questions that maybe a lot of you guys are having and get all of those answered for you guys. Just like on my YouTube channel, like I haven't let one question go unanswered. I'll make sure that I get back to you guys with the information that you need. But either way, thank you guys for sticking around and I guess, yeah, listening to me just randomly talk about random stuff. It's been quite refreshing to just do a voiceover without any real goal in mind. So like I did want to share this fake skin that I've tattooed with kind of everyone, I guess, but yeah, I can't really do that because it is exclusively for the thing. So I had to kind of find a way to share that with everyone a little bit and have a chat with everyone on YouTube again. Like I do love the space and the engagement, and yeah, I really appreciate everyone's support so far. Like the YouTube's like really blowing up, bigger than I ever really thought it would. So yeah, that's been cool and a real privilege to have all of you guys here. It was pretty fun tattooing this fake skin as well. Like, I did definitely find it quite challenging at first because I'm very locked in on how I tattoo, and I did find like a lot of these techniques, it kind of just wasn't really working as smoothly as it would on real skin and stuff like that. But no, it was pretty fun to tattoo something different, and get myself thinking again and kind of problem solving some of these areas. But yeah, now we can have a look at the finished result, and hopefully it heals up looking just as good.